think I have everybody back. We were finally received, I'm not on the record yet, but I just wanted to, before we go on the record, we'll do it on the record too. I had finally received, not uploaded into the box, but sent to Miss Racanelli were exhibits from Miss Barstow and Mr. Raza. Miss Racanelli then uploaded them to the box. And then we gave you, Miss Pena, 30 minutes to look at them because we had and 30 minutes for us as well. So that's what we've been doing. I hope you were able to see them. We'll put all whatever you want to say about them on the record. I just want to make sure you have seen them, that you know they're there, and that you don't need more time.
Your Honor, I have seen them. I was able to access the box, but as you can imagine, I have a lot of objections.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we'd gotten to that point, that everybody got to that point. So, okay. Let's see. Before we even get to those exhibits, my inclination would be to start with your witness. You have one more witness, and I kind of want to get to him, and then we can deal with the exhibits at the end. That's where I feel like we are at this point. So that's my plan. That's how I want to go forward. If you're prepared to go forward that way, Ms. Pena.
Your Honor, I am prepared to go forward, but I would prefer to deal with the exhibits because I don't know if Ms. Barstow is planning on asking any questions of my witness related to those exhibits. And I did have one clarification. Mr. Schur is my last fact witness, but I did need to call myself as an expert witness on attorney's fees.
Yeah, I thought you might. That's fine. Well, I want to go forward with Mr. Schur. If the exhibits are tried to be introduced, we'll deal with them in real time. But that's the way I want to go forward. I want to make sure we finish earlier rather than later. And so that's my preference. So when we go on the record, we're going to call Mr. Schur. And if they attempt to show him an exhibit, I don't know how they're going to show it to him because they can't operate the box system. So I'm not even for sure how that's going to work, but we'll just have to see in real time. All right, let's go on the record. Going back on the record, this is GN 24-2765. We're back for our second day of Zoom trial. And as I was just stating off the record, again, after working with the plaintiffs for a long time, they still were not able to access Box or utilize Box in any way. They've again sent exhibits, not in the way we asked them to, but we have made a lot of accommodations to at least get up the exhibits that they are trying to introduce. We're going to come back to that issue because yesterday when we broke, we were about to call Mr. Schur, and that's where I would like to go at this time. And so Ms. Pena, at this time, let's go back to where we were last night with you calling your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, we call Stephen Schur.
Mr. Schur, please raise your right hand and be sworn in. In the testimony you're about to give, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Your Honor, could you please allow screen sharing so I can show my exhibits electronically?
Yes, and then I'm going to mute a lot of people too, other than you and Mr. Schur, and I'm going to hope that some of the echo goes away. Thanks. You now have the ability to share your screen.
Good morning, Mr. Schur. Would you please give the court just a brief background about yourself?
I moved to Austin, Texas from Topeka, Kansas in 1996. I've worked in the semiconductor industry, oil and gas energy, solar, wind farm industry, and I have been a resident of the community where Point Park is located, and I actually went to Windy Point Park the second day of my moving to Austin, so I have an affection for the park.
Before you leased the park, how often would you say you visited the park?
Hundreds.
And during those visits, did you get an opportunity to meet and get to know Bob Barstow?
I did.
Eventually, did you decide to lease the park?
I did.
So I'm sharing my screen with you now. Do you recognize Exhibit 1 as the lease that you entered into with Windy Point Park?
That is the 9-page lease that I signed, yes.
And what is the effective date of the lease?
November 1st of 2023.
There was some testimony by Ms. Barstow yesterday that at the time two Daredevils executed this lease that it didn't exist. Was that accurate?
Not at all.
When I heard that, I did check the Secretary of State records, and it appeared that two Daredevils was created September 19th of 23. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Ms. Barstow also accused you of not having insurance at the time the lease took effect. Was that accurate?
Not at all.
Did you have insurance?
I had a much larger policy than the park had ever had.
And under this lease, was it your understanding that you had a right to possession on the entire park?
I did have possession of the entire park and all of its contents.
And if we look at the exhibit, that included full use of the trailers, residences, buildings, and appurtenances?
That is correct.
And it's my understanding the lease also gave you full authority to move, remove, and dispose of any boats or trailers, refuse, and debris from the property. Is that correct?
That was part of the agreement, yes.
Did you discuss with the landlord the need to remove the trailer that we've been calling Norm's trailer?
Repeatedly, before signing the agreement, it was a source of conversation.
And did you want the trailer removed?
Of course, it was a nice one.
Did Bob Barstow want the trailer removed?
He saw it as a liability.
Why was that?
Well, it was run down and dilapidated, seen as junk, and it was a place where the park needed to expand into, and it compelled people to be homeless around there.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 2. Do you recognize this as an email that you were copied on?
I was copied on this email.
And in this email was Bob Barstow asking about information related to Norm to be able to move the trailer.
Yes, he was trying to find Norm.
I'm sorry, I did not hear your answer. He was trying to, that's all I heard.
Bob was trying to find Norm.
Let's go ahead and look at exhibit number 9. Do you recognize exhibit number 9 as an email that Bob Barstow sent you dated March 7th of 24?
Yes, I recognize this email.
And Bob indicated that he found Norm and he was trying to contact him about this trailer, correct?
Correct.
Did Bob also ask you to reach out to Norm to try to contact him about this trailer?
Yes, Bob asked me to also reach out to Norm.
And did you?
I did. I called Norm and left a message initially.
Did you eventually speak with Norm?
I did. Yes, Norm called me back. I can't recall if it was that day or the next day, but it was fairly prompt.
And what was the purpose of trying to reach Norm?
Well, Bob had asked me to contact Norm if I could. Bob is hearing impaired, and asked me to convey to him if there was anything inside the trailer that he wanted. Now was the time to come get it.
And I'm sorry if I asked you this already, but were you eventually able to speak to Norm?
Yes, I was.
And did you convey that message to him?
I did.
And what was your understanding of the ownership of the trailer after you spoke with Norm?
Norm at that time had not transferred the title into his name, but he had the title in hand. and said that it was junk in his perception, and the contents were probably weathered after being in there for more than a decade.
Did he ever tell you he gave the trailer or its contents to Jan?
No.
Let's look at Exhibit 10. Is this an email from Jan to Bob and to you complaining about you trying to reach Norm?
Yes.
And Bob responded to Jan, correct?
Yes.
Without reading into the record what his response was, do you know why this response was given?
Yeah, Bob, did not see us as harassing Norm, and it's the trailer needed removed.
Did Bob ask you for help to find a hauler or somebody who would move the trailer away from the park?
Yes, he did.
And did you call around asking various people if they would come and pick up the trailer?
I called many places.
Were you successful in finding anyone who would come and pick up the trailer?
No.
And do you know why people were reluctant to come by and pick up this trailer?
When I described it over the phone, the general consensus was it wasn't worth picking up.
Did you believe the trailer was roadworthy?
Norm had indicated it was not.
And so were you ever able to identify a hauler to go out there to actually pick up the trailer?
No one, to my knowledge, was willing to pick up the trailer.
So at the time that Jan knew you and Bob were making calls to Norm, it looks like that was March 23rd, correct?
Yes.
All right, let's look at Exhibit D13. Do you recognize this as an email that Mr. Raza sent to you on April 30th?
It's an email that I received from Bob Barstow.
Well, the email from Mr. Raza says, you're right. It's Bob's response to Mr. Raza, which is copying you, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so for timeline purposes, by April 30th, the trailer had been removed?
Yes.
Were you at the park on the day it was removed?
I was.
What were you doing?
We had some customers at the time, so I was tending to customers.
Was Jan present at the time the trailer was removed?
Not to my knowledge.
And what about Mr. Raza?
Not to my knowledge.
So how did the trailer's removal come about?
A gentleman came up near the fee station, asked for the owner. Bob was there, and I said, "Bob, you have somebody here to see you." The gentleman walked towards Bob and said, "I'm here to remove the trailer," and Bob waved his hand and said, "Get it out of here."
Did you know somebody was coming that day to pick up the trailer?
I did not.
Did you know who the person was that came to pick up the trailer?
I did not recognize them.
Did you get paid to have somebody pick up this trailer?
As far as I know, no one got paid.
And did you pay anyone to take the trailer away?
No, I did not.
Jan eventually asked that you return the trailer to her, is that correct?
That is correct.
And were you in any kind of position to return the trailer?
No, I was not.
Did you know where the trailer was?
No, I did not.
In the email that we're looking at, Exhibit D13, where Mr. Raza is saying he wants his trailer back, Bob's response was, "Okay, sue me." Do you see that?
I do.
How did you interpret that response?
An acknowledgement on Bob's part that he was aware of the trailer being hauled off and was assistant in doing that.
Do you have a belief related to who called the hauler to pick up the trailer?
I do.
And who do you think made the phone call or arranged for the hauler to get out there?
I believe it would be Richard Barstow that did that.
Why do you think it was Richard?
Well, Richard and Jan have always had a heated tension. And I believe that Richard commonly walked the park and probably saw the signs on it that Jan was claiming in it. It was probably a vengeance sort of thing. And he was very aware of the Bob's support of having it moved, as shown in Exhibit 2.
Okay, I want to talk about the mail. Let's look at Exhibit D4. Do you recognize this as an email that's dated December 16 of 2023?
Yes,
And you received a copy of this email?
I did.
At this point, are we about 6 weeks or so after you had signed the lease?
6 weeks after the lease began, yes.
And do you know why this email was being sent?
Well, because neither Bob nor I were getting our physical mail.
Who had the key to the mailbox at the time the email was being sent?
Jan and Fahim.
Let's go ahead and look at Exhibit 5. Oh, actually, real quick. On Exhibit 4, it looks like Bob asked Jan to give the mail to him and the key to Steve.
That is correct.
Did Jan do that?
No, she did not.
Did Mr. Raza do that?
No, I received no key for the mailbox.
So then let's skip forward to Exhibit 5. This email is dated December 30th, and it's from Bob to Jan with the CC to you, correct?
That's correct.
Approximately 2 weeks after the last email.
Several weeks, yes.
And had you received the mailbox key at the time this email was sent?
I had not.
Okay, and in this email, Bob is asking again for Jan and Fahim to give you the mailbox key or agree with you on another time or way to get the key to you, correct?
Yes.
And when you went to the park, did you get the key on December 30th?
I did not.
So if we look at Exhibit 6, do you recognize this as another email from Bob to Jan and Fahim with a copy to you dated January 2nd?
Yes, ma'am.
And Bob is telling Jan that he's going to have you replace the park mailbox, correct?
Bob did request that I replace the mailbox on his behalf.
And he told Jan that she could either pick up her mail at the fee booth or the post office, correct?
He did.
Now, did you have any desire to leave Jan's mail at the fee booth?
No.
Why not?
In speaking with the postal carrier, it needed to go back to the post office.
What about Mr. Raza's mail? Were you comfortable leaving that at the fee booth?
No, not at all.
Is the fee booth a secured location?
No, it's an open building, just a covered roof.
Why not just take Jan the mail yourself?
I was trying to stay out of their family issues and the family drama, and quite honestly, I was afraid of her.
So after you spoke with Bob, how was it agreed to handle the mail?
After I spoke with Bob, it was agreed that I would meet Jay at the mailbox, who was now the vice president of Windy Point Park. And I would take any of my own personal mail from my company. The rest of the mail would go to Jay. And Jay was to take it to the post office. Or if Jan wanted to pick up for the, pick up at the fee booth or from Jay.
Do you know whether or not Jan's mail was actually taken to the post office and available for pickup?
It was. Jay took several pictures that he did show me early on.
And do you know if that mail that was delivered to the post office would have included Mr. Raza's mail as well?
I would assume that it had all the mail in the mailbox, including junk mail.
And do you know whether or not anyone ever informed Jan that her mail was there waiting at the post office for her?
Bob did.
Are you aware of whether Jan ever availed herself of the opportunity to pick up her mail from the post office?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you have any discussions with the post office about this dispute?
Yes, we had several discussions with my postal carrier. I live in the neighborhood, so I know the postal carrier. And then the postal supervisor actually came out to discuss the matter with us and make sure we were doing everything with the accordance of their rules.
And after those discussions, did you come to an understanding of who had a right to access the mailbox?
Yes.
And who was that?
That was Bob Barstow, Jay Barstow, and myself.
Did anyone ever indicate to you that you were doing anything improper by having Jan's mail delivered to the post office?
Not at all.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention to Exhibit 11 now. And this is a long email string. The first page of Exhibit 11, do you recognize, is an email from Bob to a bunch of people copying you, dated April 1.
I see this, yes, I recognize it.
Okay, and I'm going to go to the end of the email. Do you see this email string appear to start with Jan emailing Bob Barstow on March 26?
Yes.
And here she's acknowledging that she's going to pick up her mail from Bob, correct?
That is correct.
So at some point Bob got her mail, but you weren't withholding the mail from Jan or Fahim, correct?
Correct.
I want to switch gears now and talk about the counterclaims that you're bringing against Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza. Under the lease agreement, it was your understanding that you had exclusive possession and use of the manager's trailer. Is that true?
That is true.
And are you aware of whether Bob ever separately authorized or consented to Jan living in that manager's trailer at the park?
He never consented to her living there during my lease of the park.
Are you aware of Bob trying to evict Jan?
Yes.
And did he have to try to do that a couple times?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and look at Exhibit 12. Is this an email dated April 15th from Bob where he copied you on it?
Yes.
And if we look at the second page, it looks like Bob was telling Jan that he filed a criminal complaint against her. Do you see that?
That is correct, yes. I see that.
And in this document, do you see where Bob states he leased the park to you on 11/1 and requested that Jan move out on or about that date?
Yes.
And he also said that the rental value of the trailer with Lake Travis frontage is at least $3,000 a month, correct?
Correct.
But she still refused to leave the trailer and return it to the park?
That is correct.
Does that all match up with your understanding of the circumstances?
It does.
If we look at Exhibit 14, this is another email from Bob, and it was sent directly to you on May 6, 2024, correct?
Correct.
And he's forwarding where he sends Jan another notice of eviction in May, correct?
That is correct.
And so Jan was told she had no right to remain in the trailer.
Correct.
Was this also addressed to Mr. Raza?
It was as well, yes.
And in this notice of eviction, Bob Barstow noted that neither Jan nor Fahim were paying rent, and that the tenant, which was Two Daredevils, was paying their electricity.
That is correct.
Is all of that accurate with your understanding?
Yes.
So then by May 6th, Jan was still living in the trailer with Fahim and not paying rent.
That is true.
Let's look at Exhibit 16. And I'm not going to go through this email, but do you recognize Exhibit 16 as another email you received from Mr. Bob Barstow?
Yes,
And is it fair to say by July of 2024, Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza had still not moved out?
that is correct.
And are you aware that Bob Barstow had offered Jan to move in with him rent-free?
Yes, Bob had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and he offered them to move in room and board.
So let's look at Exhibit 19. Do you recognize this?
I do.
And what is it?
Unfortunately, it was my notice to move out and terminate the lease.
Was Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza still living in the park trailer on October 1 of 2024 when you vacated the property?
They were, yes.
Are you asking the court to award you the reasonable rental value for the period of time that Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza lived in the trailer without permission?
I am.
Do you have an opinion related to the reasonable value of rent?
Living in the community and understanding the rentals values of some of the people who rent out their garage apartments and Lakeview properties, somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 would be reasonable.
How much are you asking the court to award you for rent for the use of this trailer?
I'll go on the lower side of that, $2,500 a month.
So then if I did my math correctly, 2,500 times 11 months, is that $27,500 that you're asking the court to award you for rent?
For rent, yes.
Are you also asking the court to order Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza reimburse you for the utilities that you paid on their behalf?
I am, yes.
Let's look at Exhibit 22. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is a requested from Pedernales Electric, a bill for the breaker that goes to the trailer, and that's for the 11 months that I leased the property and paid the bill.
Was this bill solely for the manager's trailer?
There are 3 circuits on the property, and that is the one that goes to the trailer.
Does it also go to the office?
So it goes to the office trailer, yes.
And what was the total amount of electricity that you paid for during the time that Ms. Barstow and Ms. Raza were living in the trailer?
For this circuit only, it was $2,160.57.
And how much are you asking the court to award you as reimbursement for utilities?
$2,160.57.
Now, Ms. Barstow brought this lawsuit against you, correct?
Yes, she did.
And were you required to hire a lawyer to defend you?
I was, because it was, I'm not capable of defending myself.
Did you agree to pay that lawyer?
I have been paying this attorney, yes.
And are you asking for the court to award you attorney's fees?
I am, please.
Now, before you were sued, did you ever intend to sue Jan for rent?
No, I was willing to wash my hands of it.
And did you ever tell Jan you'd agree to just have a walk away to be done with everything?
Yes, I did.
So are you here today because you want to be here or because you have to be here?
I'm here because I have to be here.
Do you consider these damages that you're asking the court to award you real losses that you've suffered?
This is a fraction of what I have suffered.
Your Honor, I'll pass the witness.
All right. right, I don't think I have any Mr. Barstow, you don't have any additional questions other than the ones Ms. Pena asked, correct?
I do not, Your Honor.
Now, Jan Barstow and Mr. Raza, y'all are up. Ms. Barstow, who's gonna go first? You gotta unmute yourself, Ms. Barstow.
Okay. Did anyone else stay in the small trailer during this course of time? The office trailer?
In the early part, Daniel stayed in there, and a continuance with you having him in there.
Did anyone else, any other employees stay in that trailer as well?
On the weekends that once Daniel also had a place in Steiner Ranch. On the weekends that he didn't stay there, on occasion Kristen would stay there.
Okay. So the office trailer was occupied during your tenure in the park. Was that right?
Infrequently, but sometimes, yes.
Okay. So some of your employees, both Daniel and Kristen would, and I believe Kristen had guests at times also. So you had other people using the office trailer that was on the same breaker. Is that right?
Yes, because they could not stay where you were.
All right. Did you consider the lodgings that I was in habitable?
Absolutely.
Then would it be reasonable to have hot water in a place that you consider habitable?
I would assume, yes.
Okay. Would it be reasonable for a habitable place to have cooking facilities, a stove or an oven?
I would want that in my place.
All right. Would it be reasonable to have a functioning air conditioning system in this Texas weather?
I have that at my place, so yes.
All right. Was there a reason that habitable, what you call a habitable place, do you think you could get rent if it didn't have functioning amenities?
I'm sure that I wouldn't rent it out unless it had that.
I agree. If it were lacking those facilities, those amenities that are required for habitable living, how would you value such a living space?
I'm going to ask you to say the question again. You were freezing up.
I'm sorry. If a dwelling were lacking a range, oven, hot water, the air conditioning, if it were lacking those amenities, how would you value that kind of living space?
If you're referring to the place you were living, I was not renting it to you.
What? All right. I understand that. What kind of value do you think you would get for it in those conditions?
As I stated, if I were renting it, $2,500 to $3,000.
And without those amenities, without those features, what would it be worth?
The facility had those amenities.
Do you remember receiving some emails and some communication about propane?
I have received no emails about propane. I did not subscribe to any propane delivery services.
All right. Are you aware of what kind of utilities the trailer had?
I am aware of the utilities, yes.
Did you see the propane tank in the back?
The propane tank that was there, yes, the entire time you were there.
All right. Were you aware that it was empty?
Initially, I know that it had propane in it.
were you requested to transfer all the utilities in the park to your name when you took over the terms of the lease?
I was responsible for any utilities that I wanted to use.
Was there a reason why you didn't continue the propane?
The propane was not at my use. I did not use, the only thing on the park that used propane was the one building I did not have access to, which was where you were occupying.
Was that why you didn't transfer it to your name?
It was not in my account. There's a lease on the tank. I don't have the right to fill a tank that I don't lease.
As a manager of the park, you were required to transfer. Did you transfer the disposal system to your name after you became the manager of after you leased the park? I keep forgetting, or you didn't, you leased the park. You were not just hired as a manager working for Dad. So when you assumed the lease to the park, did you transfer the disposal contract to your name?
I did not transfer. I started a new contract. There was no transfer option.
All right. So you started a new contract because you knew that you needed disposal services?
Yes, the park needs disposal service.
All right. How did you handle the phone service?
The phone service I transferred into a separate, I had my own number I created my own phone system. I didn't transfer the phone service.
Okay. How did you handle Clover?
You never gave me access to Clover, so I had to buy all new equipment. I handed the old equipment back to Jay, who handed it to Richard.
Okay. And how did you handle the electric?
The electric, I called Pedernales Electric, the same way you did after I terminated the contract and had it put into my name.
Okay. And so how did you handle the propane?
The propane was unnecessary for the operations of the park until you moved out.
All right.
There was nothing in the contract that said I had to transfer propane.
I believe in the lease terms, you were to transfer all utilities to your name. Did you expect Barstow Limited Partnership or Windy Point Park or someone else? Who did you expect to assume that lease when you took that part of your terms of your contract? Who did you expect to take on that responsibility?
As I said, the tank was not owned by me, nor was my lease with the tank. The tank transfer lease was not an option. That's why they hauled it away.
And so you have a pre-existing utilities in the business and did not transfer that portion of it to your name as required by your terms of your contract.
I would have
of your lease.
I did not transfer the propane to my name because I would have to set up a new account.
Isn't that what you did with the disposal system?
That is, but I had access and fair use of the disposal system. I did not have access and full use of the propane.
Okay. What gave you do you remember being outside in the back with Norm and me discussing the 57-foot storage container?
No, as Norm said yesterday, he was uncertain whether we had met face to face, and I don't recall meeting him face to face.
I believe yesterday he said he did meet you. I
don't-
have some videos of you having conversation with us.
That may be. I just don't recall having any conversation with him about the trailer.
What other reason
If you're speaking about him coming out there after the trailer was gone, that's possible. I know you said that he did come out there.
do you recall? I have to look up the date. I can provide you a date shortly if you're interested, if it'll refresh your memory. Uh, there is video of you in a conversation with Norm and just a moment. Fahim, were you there or were you not on this one? Okay, you came after. On the first one, before the trailer was taken, Norm was showing you information. Did you agree to call Norm before it was taken?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the extent that Ms. Barstow is testifying as to videos that may or may not exist. I'm also objecting as an unfair question because she's not showing my client any videos and they haven't been produced.
I don't know how to enter them. I wish I could. All right.
Sustained.
All right. All right. So Norm stated yesterday that you had agreed to contact him if you were going to take any further steps. Was there a reason you didn't contact him?
At that time, all the trailer matters had been handed over to Bob and Richard.
Well, no, I'm not aware that Richard had anything to do with the trailer directly, other than that we wanted most things on the property moved, and I'm part of the ones who wanted things moved off as
I'm
well.
objecting again to the extent Ms. Barstow is testifying.
I get it. That's not a conversation. I apologize.
Thank you. It's the objection sustained.
Yes, that's fair. Let's slow down. Do you recall Norman saying yesterday said that he valued some of the things in the trailer?
You're going to have to restate that. You were breaking up.
Do you recall Norman stating that he valued some of the things in the trailer?
I recall Norm telling me in our initial phone call that everything was junk.
Is that what he said yesterday?
What he told me originally on the first phone call with him was that everything in there was junk and had been in there for over a decade.
Did he provide you an itemized list of the contents?
Norm did not.
Would he go to the extreme of trying to prevent its being taken if it were junk?
He offered in the initial phone call that he would try and find Salvation Army to take it. That's what he was trying to do, is find a Salvation Army, and Salvation Army had no interest in it. And
Is that when
he had a friend who worked for Salvation Army. He sent them a list and they were not interested.
Is that what he stated yesterday, or is this your something you're saying that he might say?
I'm stating what he said on my very first phone call with him when he returned my phone call.
Your Honor, are we able to call witnesses after or call more witnesses?
I cannot give you legal advice.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay. Did you ever see what was in the trailer?
No,
Did you ever ask someone to open the trailer, to break in?
I did not.
That's why we need Daniel. Were you aware that Jan and Fahim were going to take it when we moved?
I was made aware of that between you and your father's conversations.
Was this before the trailer was taken?
The emails are dated prior to the trailer being removed.
Do you recall a text to Fahim when he was in Henderson about his taking the trailer with him?
Fahim did indicate that he wanted the trailer.
All right. Is there a reason that you would take something that somebody else, belongs to somebody else?
I'm not answering that question. I don't see that you're going to have to narrow in on it.
Narrow in. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, if only Jan owned the trailer, would you have taken it?
Objection, Your Honor. Mischaracterizes the testimony.
Okay,
Sustained. You need to ask a different question.
all right. I can't say if. So you were aware that Norm owned the trailer, correct?
I was aware that Norm claimed to own the trailer, but he had told me that the title was still in a previous owner's name.
And would you take a trailer in those conditions if he were trying to,
Well, personally, I wouldn't take that trailer because it was junk.
was it junk to other people?
It was junk to everybody I called.
Was it junk to the people who owned it?
Yes, Norm said that it was junk.
Yes.
I don't recall that in his testimony yesterday. Did Jan and Fahim consider it junk?
You could answer that better than I could.
Did I send an email stating what the value was?
You sent an email after the trailer was removed based upon unseen material, but I believe that to be extremely inaccurate.
I included it. I hope I did. Before the trailer was taken, there were some signs put on it. Do you recall seeing that since you were on the grounds?
I did see the sign.
And in the email that was given to you and to Bob Barstow, was there a value stated on the contents on the trailer? Do you remember that?
I'm not sure what email that would have been attached to. I remember at some point in time you stating values, but I believe all those were after the trailer had already been removed.
Do you believe that there was communication? Do you have it? Okay. There was. Would it surprise you if Norm himself valued the contents at 100,000?
I wouldn't believe that because he had already told me that it was junk and wanted the Salvation Army to take it. And I don't think Norm is crazy enough to walk away from $100,000.
I don't recall that. I don't recall that in his testimony yesterday or in anything we have on hand, other than what you say. Was there a reason you wouldn't let Jan and Fahim take their trailer with them?
It was not your trailer. It was Norm's trailer.
If Norm's desire was that it go with Fahim and me, why did you feel it necessary to take it away?
Bob had it removed. All email correspondences, all trailer related stuff between you, Fahim, and Bob was between you, Fahim, and Bob. Not one email, not any correspondence, not anything did I ever get into that dynamic.
I remember writing you directly, Stephen.
And I did not write back.
But you received the email, is that correct?
I'm not sure. You would have to pull up that email as evidence so I could see it.
I hope we have it. All right. You have some questions?
Yes.
Just a minute. You said that you felt that Richard may have contacted the person to haul the trailer? Was Richard doing things on the property while you were leasing it?
I do know that Richard walked the property.
Do you think Richard is a businessman?
You've known him longer than I have.
Would one businessman take items off another businessman's property without going through the proper channels?
Your Honor, irrelevant and also calls for speculation.
Sustained.
All right. Would you take property off of somebody else's business area? Would you remove property going proper channels?
You'll have to spell out the circumstances for me to answer that.
More directly, if Richard had leased the land, a different position than he's in now, if Richard had leased the land, would you feel comfortable taking an item off the property without getting permission from him or coordinating with him?
Your Honor, I'm going to object as irrelevant and calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Not sure how to get at that. Did Richard ever communicate with you about taking the trailer?
Not directly, only in the email exchanges between he and Bob, I oversaw that they wanted it removed and had planned on removing it.
And were you aware that I also had wanted to remove the boats and the RV that was there and the trailer? This was part of our plan. Were you aware that was in the works?
I cannot speak on your behalf.
Were you aware that we had found a location for it?
If you had, I would have been happy to have you and Norm remove it and take it there.
Then what did you mean when you asked Fahim when he was taking it? Where was he going to take it?
That was up to Fahim. He said the other day he had a piece of property that he had to sell.
On your text with Fahim on April 7th, where was Fahim?
I don't know where Fahim was. The texts don't tell that.
If I remember, you asked him, how is Henderson? How are things going in Henderson?
Oh, okay. Then that doesn't state where he was. It just asks how things are. I knew he was optimistic about a business in Henderson.
Find it. Well, you were the one that asked, when are you going to be able to take the trailer to Henderson?
Okay.
Would that imply, to your knowledge, that he might take the trailer to Henderson?
I had
Your Honor, I'm going to object as mischaracterizing the evidence. The text has not actually been admitted, and it doesn't say exactly what Ms. Barstow says it says.
I believe it is in the lawsuit directly. It's in the lawsuit.
I don't know what that means. That it's in the lawsuit. I'm not for sure what that means.
It's in the pleading. It's in the pleading. There's a
Who's
photo of it
pleading
in the pleading.
Where?
Our plead. The court has it. It's our pleading to the court.
I know, but there's lots of pleadings. So I'm just saying the file is full of things. If you want me to find something, you're going to have to direct me to where it is.
Okay. The original filing for the stolen trailer
With exhibits.
has some exhibits in it, and that is one of the exhibits that we base it on. The original filing. No responses or back and forth.
Okay, well, I think at this point I have to move on, but I'll try to find it as you're going forward. Thank you.
Okay. So you stated you had no personal knowledge of any contents?
just all of a hearsay of what Norm had said.
And were you listening very well during his testimony yesterday?
Specifically,
Related to what he put in, the crates that he had put in the trailer?
okay, I heard that.
Okay. I wanted to just ask a few questions about the mail. My recall is different from what you just stated. But are you stating that you had the key the whole time, that when you did put the other mailbox up?
From the time that Bob instructed me, from the time that I actually put up the replacement mailbox on Bob's behalf, Bob and I each had a key.
All right. And so you wanted to change the mailbox from what was there before?
I did not. I wanted the key so that I could get the mail.
Where were Jen and Fahim placing the mail for you?
Uh, at, to my knowledge, it was not coming to me at all.
You have to face me.
All right, so after the mailbox was changed and you had the key, correct?
Correct.
The new mailbox that you wanted to put up. All right. So Bob allowed you to put up a different mailbox, correct?
Bob requested, because he's 93 years old and couldn't do it himself, he asked me to do it for him.
Dad told me different. I need those videos. All right. That's true. He would need you to do it for him if you wanted to put up another one, because he couldn't do it for you. So when you got the mail each time, right? You got the mail out, you took the mail out of the mailbox
Jay and
directly?
I jointly took the mail out of the mailbox. That's correct.
Jointly? Would y'all meet each other at the mailbox, or how did y'all do this?
Yes, we would call each other and meet each other at the mailbox.
All right. Did y'all go through the mail at the moment, or just handle it quickly? Just a hand?
We would sift through the mail for stuff that was specifically mine.
By yours, what do you mean?
Two Daredevils, LLC, or me personally. By
Okay.
that time, I was not receiving mail there because I had directed our mail carrier to just deliver it to my house.
For how long? You mean, are we talking about the two Daredevils or Windy Point Park?
Two Daredevils.
All right. When did you start having two Daredevils delivered to your home address?
I'm not exactly sure the date, but a conversation was had with the mail carrier.
Okay. And did you sift through the Windy Point Park mail when you mailbox with Jay?
I looked through to see if there's anything directly for two Daredevils.
What happened to the mail for Windy Point Park?
All other mail went to Jay's hands.
And what did you instruct Jay to do with it?
I did not instruct Jay to do with it. That was between he and Bob.
So you didn't handle the Windy Point Park mail?
That's correct.
Weren't you that wasn't that your business?
No, Windy Point Park is not my business. Two Daredevils is my business, and I leased Windy Point Park from Windy Point Park and Bob and Barstow Limited Partnership.
I believe, is your lease from Barstow Limited Partnership or from Windy Point Park?
My lease is through Windy Point Park.
That's what okay. So you're talking about your relationship with Windy Point Park. correct?
You'll have to clarify the question.
Well, your lease is with Windy Point Park, not Barstow Limited Partnership, correct?
My lease is with Windy Point Park.
All right. So you're, did you feel responsible for the mail that came to Windy Point Park in that mailbox?
I felt responsible to do what the post office told me, and that was to give it to its rightful owner. And Jay Barstow is the vice president of Windy Point Park.
And what is your understanding that Jay did with the mail?
Well, Jay took it to the post office. At one point in time, I do believe that you had the opportunity to walk across the street and get it. I was told you knew where it was.
At what time was that?
That would be immediately after the mailbox was replaced.
Who would have told Jan this?
Well, it was in one of the exhibits right here that you could pick it up.
Pick it up.
Yeah, Bob, I believe, is the one who told you that.
Do you think you and Bob were on the same page on some things and not on other things?
No, I think Bob and I were on the same page on most things, at least as far as the agreement to lease the property. We both signed it.
That's true. Did you sign it twice?
I would have to look at it.
Okay. Do you remember a confusion about when Jan came back from Pakistan? Remember confusion about the signatures?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this continued questioning. It's irrelevant. It's cumulative.
Sustained. And we said we were going to finish, Ms. Barstow. It's gone on too long. Why don't you take 5 more minutes and see if you can get to relevant questions in these 5 minutes? Thank you.
Okay. When Jan was trying to get her mail, do you recall her writing that the post office didn't have it?
You're going to have to restate that. You froze up.
Do you recall Jan calling the Postal Inspection Service about stolen mail?
I would not be privy to Jan's phone calls.
Do you recall the emails about a postal concern about the mail?
I do recall dialogue between you and Bob, yes.
All right. Do you remember the sheriff getting involved?
Deputy Mallinger, yes.
All right. And so was Jen trying to find a way to get mail delivered to her and to him?
I don't know how you were trying to deal with your mail outside of the emails that I was a part of.
Did you have a solution for Jan that where she on location could get her mail?
The mail was never to be delivered there per Bob's, the owner's demands. He had instructed you to get a P.O. box or a forwarding address.
Are you aware of the laws about the postal delivery in Texas?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the question. The court gets to decide what the laws are, and Mr. Scher is not a lawyer.
Sustained.
All right. I pass the witness.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Pena. Anything else?
Insurance.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Scher. You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Raza. You may have a few questions, Mr. Raza. I mean, but really the two of you I can sort of consider on this aligned. I don't know that he has any counterclaims Well, I guess he does against you specifically. You did counterclaim against Mr. Raza specifically too, right?
We have a
Your
witness.
Honor, I'll be very quick.
Yes, yes, you can ask questions too. Sorry about that. I sort
No,
of,
it's all right. I'll be very quick and I'll be very specific. Hey, go down.
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sharer, how are you?
Fine.
Good. I'll be very specific with you. I have to ask you a few questions. I heard while this trial was moving, your attorney said the trailer was the property of a park. Are you agree with that?
That would be up to Bob Barstow. I do not own the park.
I can't hear you. Hold on. My voice. Volume is. Hold on. I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Sorry for that. Lower down your volume. Sorry for that, Mr. Scherer. Are you there?
I am. I can hear you.
Okay. So my question, let me repeat it. Your attorney said the trailer, the 57 feet big trailer, storage trailer, or with a trash trailer, it comes up with the different titles. I'm sorry, I'm coming up with that title. So that was the park property. Yeah, are you agree with that?
If it was the park property, Bob owned the park 100%, so it would be Bob Barstow's potentially, but I was never akin to any transactions, nor have I
Your
seen any
statement
title
says
transfers.
if. Okay, I'm done with that question. Can we move? Another question. I heard everything you were pressurized by Bob Barstow to do it. But you were pressurized by him to do that. I truly believe. Okay. Do you have any written thing from Bob Barstow? Do that. Find the hauler. Because you have everything in written again, have emails, everything. Do you have anything Bob Barstow given you a written thing? So that, hey, find the hauler, or Richard is responsible, he called the hauler, or how authentic? Okay, respond to this, then I'll have another question. Did you have anything in written that Bob Barstow asked you to find a hauler?
Bob and Richard were working to find a hauler, but Bob had asked me to call on his behalf repeatedly, verbally.
Look, this is code, what I understand, since even Jan is asking, nobody's going to believe. He says, who says is not, I don't think so this honorable court validate. My question is very clear. That do you have anything in written which says the Bob Barstow ask you to find a hauler, or anything, you have anything, any proofs to prove that Richard called the hauler and he did the arrangements?
I have no knowledge of any written request for me to.
I got it. Because I heard previous question that Richard did the arrangement for the hauler. So that was, I thought you have some authentic proof to go against Richard. So that's what my cue. Okay. Taylor was not. Hey, Mr. Steven Scherer, I have a question. Bob Barstow or Richard Barstow approach the Texas eviction? Did they approach? Do you have any knowledge?
I know there's some more emails between Texas Eviction and Bob in how to fill out the documents.
Okay. Is there your discussion or reference in that emails?
You're going to have to re-ask the question. I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay. Let me ask another question. Have you ever approached Texas Eviction on behalf of Barstow Partnership Limited?
Bob did request that we find an attorney or somebody who could help him out, because the first attempt to evict Chan was a less formal, a less formal mannerism.
Okay. Good to know. Do you know Bob Barstow can represent Barstow Limited Partnership or not?
I am not certain of
Okay.
legalities of their
Okay.
arrangement.
Just a question. Because you are not attorney, I'm not attorney, I'm trying to just asking a simple question, yes and no. So that letter was, you approached the eviction, Texas eviction on the behalf of, because Bob requested you, am I right?
We found a place that did that. However, once we found them, Bob did all the proceedings.
Okay, so on the behalf of Bob Barstow, you approached Texas eviction, where Richard was not knowing who can represent it, who even don't know about that letter. Do you know that?
Your Honor, I'm going to object because I don't quite understand the question and I think it's compound.
Okay. I'll change it.
Sustained.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Stewart, how many other things were on the property when you were trying to move, or Bob Barstow was trying to move? How much other boats were there on the property? How much? There was a big RV over there. Do you remember the numbers?
Your Honor, I'm going to object because any other property out there is irrelevant to the claims in the lawsuit.
Sustained.
Okay, Mr. Scherer, do you have problems with Mr. Bob Barstow with your contracts other than Jan's problem? Do you have any problems with Bob Barstow with your contract with Windy Point Park and two Daredevils?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again as to relevancy.
Sustained.
So you, once again, I'm sorry, I'm kind of a repeating, but I'm just making myself little clear. You don't have any written thing that Bob Barstow was pushing you
I don't
to
recall
remove the trailer.
Barstow pushing me.
He was not pushing you?
No.
Okay. So he was disparate by himself to move that trailer.
I
And he
think
did it. He
everybody
did it.
everybody want. I do not have any idea of who took the trailer. I do know that Bob and Richard were both determined to get that out of there from the day I signed the agreement.
Okay.
It was a huge part of the agreement.
I'm done. Thank you. I passed the witness. You cannot jump in.
Anything further from you, Ms. Pena?
No, Your Honor.
All right, now, Mr. Scher, you're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then Ms. Pena, for you, please raise your right hand and be sworn in. In the testimony you're about to give, do you solemnly swear or affirm you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may proceed on your attorney's fees. In the narrative, like Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza did earlier in the case. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Blair Pena, and I'm an attorney in Round Rock, Texas. I have been practicing for 20 years. I went to the University of Tulsa School of Law from 2002 to 2005, and I graduated in the top 5% of my class in 2005. I studied for the bar exam and was licensed later that year. I began my career working at Dietz & Gerard from 2005 to 2009, where I focused on civil non-family litigation. 2009, I moved to the Austin area and worked at Hance Scarborough until 2021, when I decided to open my own firm. While I was at Hance Scarborough, I continued doing civil non-family litigation. At all times since I've been licensed and practicing over the last 20 years, I've done business and construction litigation, civil non-family. In December of 2020, I became board certified in civil appellate law. I've been named a rising star and a super lawyer, and last year the Austin Bar Association awarded me the Professionalism Award. I'm the former chair of the litigation section of the Austin Bar Association, And I have been involved in the Austin Bar and the Williamson County Bar since I started practicing law. I work hard to maintain my reputation in the community as being hardworking and ethical, and I regularly exceed all my CLE requirements. I was hired to represent the defendant, Stephen Schur, and 2 daredevils in June of 2024. My typical hourly rate ranges from $395 an hour to $525 an hour, depending on the complexity of the case and the parties that are involved. In this case, I agreed to charge a rate of $395 per hour because we did not view the issues as very complicated. The rate of $395 per hour is reasonable in Travis County. Through my professional organization work and my personal relationships with other lawyers, I'm very aware of what lawyers charge in Travis County, and $395 is actually on the very low end for somebody who's been licensed as long as I have. During my representation, I kept detailed records of my time, and Exhibit 31 and 32, which were previously admitted, are my attorney fee invoices. These records were kept contemporaneously and accurately represent the services provided at the time they were provided, and also showing the amount of time each individual task took. As part of this case, I had the assistance of a paralegal named Ben Warren. He's a Texas Tech graduate, and his hourly rate was $145 per hour, which, based on my knowledge of the going rate of paralegals and his experience and tenure of work, is reasonable for Travis County. I also had an associate, Abigail Ventris, work with me for limited engagement here and there on this rate, and her hourly rate is $300 per hour. Again, based on my knowledge of the market, I believe $300 an hour for Ms. Ventris's qualifications and experience are reasonable. She's been licensed for several years, and she graduated at the top of her class. She recently tried her first jury trial in Travis County, and so she's getting her experience miles in addition to all of her CLE requirements and book miles. Prior to issuing the bills that are attached as Exhibit 31 and 32, I've reviewed personally each of these bills, and in that process, I actually discount my time to address for duplication of efforts, or if I think a particular task took too long. That way I can ensure that the amount billed for the services was actually necessary. In reviewing the invoices that are attached as Exhibit 31 and 32, they total $24,947.96. However, I recognize I also have a duty to segregate fees between recoverable and non-recoverable claims and causes of action. Here, we're seeking attorney's fees under the Texas Theft Liability Act, which allows the prevailing party to recover fees. The Texas Theft Liability Act claim was included with the original petition, and the only other claim was conversion. However, the elements of conversion and for the Texas Theft Liability Act are inextricably intertwined. They overlap, and so I didn't account for any segregation between those two claims between when the lawsuit was filed, May of 2024, until we filed our counterclaim, and I believe it was January of 2025. Yes, January 22nd of 2025. From January 22nd of 2025 forward, I did go through and segregate time out that was related solely to the trespass claim and any of the affirmative claims that were asserted by the defendant. And I discounted the total amount of fees billed through February 28, which is Exhibit 32. That amount, Your Honor, is $19,175.46. So that bill was issued on February 28. It doesn't take into account the time that I spent preparing for trial on March 1, where personally I spent 7 hours, and that included finalizing and preparing the proposed judgment, preparing my opening PowerPoint presentation, preparing my client, Mr. Schur, for his testimony, interviewing the defendant, Jay Barstow, interviewing Kristen Marcroft, preparing my witness outlines for the actual days of trial, and finalizing the bench brief that was filed on the first day of trial. Since that Saturday on March 1, I spent another 21 hours in the actual trial itself and preparing for this trial. If I take those 21 hours that have been worked in March and I multiply it times 395, that increases the total attorney's fees another $8,295. And so the total request for fees that we're asking, Your Honor, after all the adjustments and calculations is $27,470.46. We are also asking for an award of conditional appellate fees. And to the extent that there are any post-trial motions, I've estimated those fees to be $1,000. That would consist of reviewing whatever gets filed and then responding to it. If there is an unsuccessful appeal to the Court of Appeals, we would estimate those contingent fees to be $15,000, Your Honor. As being board certified, I have handled a significant number of appeals, and $15,000 is pretty average when you include the time to review the clerk's record, the reporter's record, all of the various filings, and the total trial testimony and preparing our brief. If a petition for review is filed to the Texas Supreme Court, but no response is requested, we've put that at $395 for conditional appellate fees. Typically, we review that brief and we will file a waiver letter notifying the Texas Supreme Court that we don't intend to respond unless they ask for a response. If the court asks for a response, though, to the petition for review, we're requesting $7,500 to respond to that petition for review. If the appeal goes further and the court requests briefs on the merits, we'd ask for another $15,000 in conditional appellate fees. If oral argument is ordered, we would ask for $10,000 of attorney's fees. And that completes my testimony unless you have any questions, Your Honor.
We have to.
Never mind.
I can't, Your Honor.
I'm hoping it works now.
Yes.
Thank you. I've been told maybe if I wait a few minutes, it would just start working. So that's the latest on my technological issue. Thank you. I don't think I have any questions actually from me. Let me see if Ms. Barstow or Mr. Raza have any questions.
Yes.
Thank you.
We would like to bring one witness to counter what we just heard.
Well, that's not questions. The first issue is, do you have any questions? No, they have no questions. And so they're
Not about
passing
what-
you as a witness. Now, okay. That brings us to the end of your case in chief, I think, Ms. Pena. And so you would rest and close at this instance, correct? Sorry, you muted yourself.
Your Honor, we do rest our evidence. We are holding off on closing until all of the evidence is fully closed.
Thank you. All right. Now, Ms. Barstow, there's something you would like to do. And I cannot teach you how to practice law. This is not a trial advocacy class. And so
I would like to.
I've made a lot of concessions for you. We're still here. I've allowed you to put in your evidence. We've really, or put in your testimony at least. We've basically walked you through things. And so I am loath at this point to continue to walk you through how to do things. If you make the right argument at this time, the court is inclined to listen to it, but only if you make the right legal argument at this juncture.
I would like to introduce evidence that would show that there is a perjury, that there is don't know if I'm using the right words. I have a witness that I would like to introduce relevant to the test, to the exhibits that I brought in.
That request is denied.
Okay. And I need to, I need to qualify the evidence. And
So you would like now to turn to the pieces, the 6 pieces of evidence that you sent to Ms. Racanelli, that Ms. Racanelli uploaded for you,
yes,
that have been listed as, again, not correctly, but they're listed as plaintiffs A through F, I believe.
yes,
And Ms. Pena
Yes.
has seen them. So you are making
Yes.
an offer for plaintiffs A through F. Let's go through them, each of them. Ms. Pena, A, do you have any objections to A?
Your Honor, I know you want to go through each of them, but I have one general objection that applies to all of them, which is the untimeliness of these exhibits. The lawsuit was filed with an attorney on May 2nd of 2024. On August 1 of 2024, the plaintiff's former attorney responded to disclosures, and under the disclosure that asked for a copy of or description of all documents that may be used to support the claims, the attorney responded, please see attached P1 through 9. There was no reference in the disclosures to an attempt to supplement. There was no reference in the disclosures that there would be.
I'm overruling that objection. I hear your point, but I've read the evidence and I'm admitting A through F. If that's where we're going, the court's going to give some courtesy to them and admit A through F, because I don't think they're particularly surprising. I don't even really know that some of them are relevant, but we're not going to do it based on surprise. I mean, I think that that's not going to work for me. And then I'm going to close their evidence and close your evidence and get ready to rule, which is all of plaintiff's claims are denied for the Texas Theft Liability Act and for conversion. Those claims are denied. It is also going to be the case that all of defendants' offensive affirmative claims are also denied, including trespass to tie title and unjust enrichment. However, the court is granting the attorney's fees under the Texas Theft Liability Act in full, and I'm awarding the fees that Ms. Pena just testified to, which is $27,470.46, plus the $1,000 for any post-trial briefing, plus the $15,000 for the Court of Appeals, plus the $395, plus the $7,000, plus the $15,000, plus the $10,000. Those are conditional. They don't come into play unless appeals are brought and the plaintiffs are non-prevailing parties. That's how that works. But that's going to be the court's ruling here. It's a final judgment. And I am asking Ms. Pena to draft that final judgment for the court to sign and memorialize in an order. And that would close evidence here. The court has been very patient with a lot of the plaintiff behavior, and that's where we're going to get to. I'm going to give you 3 minutes, Ms. Barstow, to say something on the record that is what you want to say, but the court has ruled. And I'm noting that Ms. Pena nodded when I asked her to draft the order, and that she is going to move forward.
Yes, Your Honor.
We have a witness that is on our witness list that we need to bring in. And I just learned some information. I just learned information that fully backs, counters what Stephen has reported. And I would like—
That request is denied. Thank you. Everybody is excused and we are free to go off the record.